My name is Eaton, and I am the co-producer and co-director of First Friday. Many cities in the country have a First Friday or a First Saturday event where galleries get together and kind of showcase their new exhibits. In Oakland, it kind of grew really big. It started off on one street with about 4 or 5 galleries, and all of a sudden, a couple years later, it sprawled to this 10-block extravaganza. There's art galleries that have openings, there's street performers, there's musicians, there's food trucks, and all on this 10-block strip. And it brings together young people, old people, white people, black people, Asian people. It's this community space that is rare to have, where there's so many cross sections of people. A couple things happened that led to First Friday. In February, I woke up to the news of a young man, Keontae Campbell, who was murdered at a First Friday event. And my first thought was, well, of course, it was bound to happen. And it probably means it'll get shut down, because anything that's good in Oakland ends up getting shut down because of violence or because of people being afraid of violence. And I was really kind of surprised and disgusted at my own response. But I knew that was a response that many people all around Oakland had. What was getting lost in that was that here's another young black male who was murdered. He was 18 years old, but because of where he was murdered, it became politicized. And I felt like I care about First Friday, but I also care about the hundreds of young black men that lose their lives all the time in Oakland, and everyone else's death is just as important as his. So that's how the kind of idea of First Friday started. We knew we wanted to film for the March 2013 First Friday, but we knew right away that if we were going to tell the story of Oakland, we need to bring together all these voices that represent different sections of Oakland. We found Casey, who's our young teen from East Oakland, because we put out a call to teachers that we knew who were in our network. City Councilwoman Lynette McElhaney was easy because the district she represents or First Friday it's in West Oakland and downtown Oakland, which represents the part of Oakland that's seeing the most rapid development. We knew we wanted an organizer because First Friday at that time was put on by the people of Oakland, so we knew it was really important to have someone who is an Oakland resident who helps to put on this event. And then the reason why I found out about the murder of Keontae Campbell was because of this blog post by this man, Lucas Brecky Meisner, and he runs an after-school program. So everything kind of came together really easily, and we were able to get these amazing characters. We filmed the documentary before last year's events and the Black Lives Matter movement emerged. But that movement emerged because there has always been unjustifiable murder of black women and men and brown women and men in our communities. You know, the Black Panthers was started because of police harassment in Oakland. These events happen way too frequently in our country and way too frequently in Oakland. What is common is this frustration and wanting to do something about it. The big challenge was we had 3 weeks until we were going to shoot this March 1st Friday, and we knew we wanted to shoot multiple characters. So we defined the characters really quickly and get them to say, we have to film with you the entire day. And then we knew we wanted one crew with each character. So it was 8 teams total, and I think it ended up being 34 people. There are some logistical issues that are doing a shoot, making a shoot happen that fast, it's that large. In Oakland, there's been a slew of thefts of camera equipment. Actually, a friend of mine today is a sound person, just had $8,000 worth of gear, audio gear, stolen from his truck. I mean, people are robbing news crews live. So I was like, I have 8 crews out with really expensive cameras. How do I make sure that they're protected? So that's why we had made sure each crew was so large. Luckily, nothing got stolen, but their safety was also really paramount to me. So making sure that everyone had insurance, and they didn't have insurance, we had to buy insurance for that day. So lots of big logistical problems, but things went off without a hitch. People have this perception of Oakland being this incredibly dangerous place, and we all know and love it to be incredibly diverse, full of art and culture, and people who are change makers, people who are doing incredible work within our community. And so when we said we want to make a film that really reflects the Oakland that we live in, they agreed, because they don't see Oakland on their televisions either. So it was an easy sell for people because of that. Creating community is important. There's so many cities across the country that are going through development and gentrification. And one of those problems, I think, comes down to how do you create community when you're new? One of the people we met on the film, she's been in Oakland a 3rd generationer. Her grandmother came here from Louisiana. You know, there's a huge migration of African Americans from the South over to Oakland. And she's told her, her grandmother said, well, at some point we were gentrifiers too, because this wasn't always a black neighborhood. And so I think it's important to know that change is going to happen, but how do you interact with people? How do you make people really your neighbors? And I think that's an important conversation to have. And I hope people see the importance of art in creating community, because it can be really transformative. I'm incredibly excited for it to be on AfroPoP. I've watched AfroPoP before, and always a strong collection of films telling the stories of our community and of the diaspora. We couldn't ask for a better partner, and I'm so glad that this story and the stories of this community are going to get national attention.